friends, I'm Rich Larson and I'm the IRC Tire Guy. Today we are at one of my favorite places to ride in Utah. I've got a bunch of random boulders that I've never hit before, and what I want to do is show you guys my approach when I hit an obstacle for the first time. So this is going to be a lot based on double blips, but there's a lot more that goes into it than just knowing how to double blip, and that's really what I want to shed a little light on for you guys. There's going to be a lot of different things that we're going to talk about today, but we're going to get right into it. My hope is to start very small, a regular size, little boulder, and work our way up to something that I've never done before. And we're talking about something that I'm probably going to fail on. So that's all good. There's an old saying, if you aren't failing, you aren't trying, and that's really what I'm going for today. I want you guys to see that I don't get everything first try. So we're gonna work our way up to bigger and bigger and bigger, and yeah, hopefully everything goes well. So let's get after it right now. We're gonna start with a very simple, small boulder. Let's head over. All right, so we are on to our first obstacle. As you can see, this isn't too gnarly. Simple little rock, maybe 2 feet tall. And there's a couple things I want to say about this. First, we're going to talk about the run-in. We've got a decent run-in here, pretty flat, pretty simple. Of course, I'm watching out for little boulders and little rocks that could get in my way on the run-in. I want the highest likelihood to have clean momentum. But one of the main things I want to talk about, especially on smaller rocks, is your speed in the approach. Okay, so a lot of what you're going to see today is me comparing my speed on a smaller rock versus a larger rock. And it sounds very simple, but a lot of guys come into an obstacle this size and they hit it way too fast. When you hit an obstacle too fast, it's going to compress your suspension more, causing more rebound, and most likely if you're hitting an obstacle that you're not 100% comfortable with and you're hitting it too fast, your body position's probably going to be in the wrong area, which is going to cause you to get a kick, a buck. That's why we see guys hitting a small rock and they get flung clean over the bars. It's because they're coming in way too fast and then you don't have that technique completely dialed. So my focus on smaller rocks is really coming in quite slow, quite controlled, and I'm looking for pure traction. I always kind of compare it to like hitting a tabletop, right? On a tabletop, you can come in slow and kind of work your way up to the full jump. Whereas on a double jump, you usually go long. I mean, you don't want to go short, right? So small rock equals a tabletop. Big rock is going to be kind of compared to a double jump. We're going to hit that fast and hard. This is about getting that technique dialed. So I'm just going to get right into it and hammer down. Hopefully the wind's not too bad today. I mean, it's a little bit. Hopefully the mic's not picking it up. So you're going to see nice and smooth here. Make sure my bike's cleaned out. I come in. I'm not going to come in fast. My focus is on holding traction. And again, you're going to hear a double blip, nice and smooth, 1-2 blip. Body position's going to go back, forward, back. Here we go. 1, 2. Not bad. There's a rock right here. Little bonus double blip for you too. So you can see there, I'm focused on putting that power down before the obstacle. Let's do it backwards. Listen to that bike. Almost no power on top of the obstacle. That's how we find that ability to get traction, right? 1-2 blip of the throttle. Watch my body position. We're gonna go back, forward, back. Back to get the front tire in the air, forward to counteract the suspension, back again to hold traction. Here we go. Back, forward, back. Just like that. So as you can see there, really smooth, really slow, controlled. I'm not rushing. I'm trying to keep that bike sticking to that rock and holding traction over. And that's something you're going to see as we get bigger and bigger and bigger. So let's move on to the next one. So we are on to the next obstacle. As you can see, we got quite a bit bigger on this one. This is a pretty decent sized rock. There's a couple things that I want you to understand. First off, my approach is very similar. We're not going to come in super fast, maybe a slightly higher than what we just did. But again, the focus is on holding traction, okay? We're going to see an early delivery of power. We're going to come in early here, try and put that power down early and be nice and smooth over the top. Now, there's a couple important things to understand here. First off, this is a very thin obstacle on the top. In fact, it's actually a point, if you can't tell. There's nothing on this side. So I have to hold pressure because this is tall enough that if I drop my front end, I'm going to go over the bars. So I have to hold pressure. So you're going to see me, that same adjustment in weight, back, forward, back, but also I'm going to hold it back a little more. And that importance of putting the power delivery early is even more important on this obstacle when we don't have that backside, right? Because on the top here, I need that tire tracking. If you're giving it power on the top of the obstacle, your tire's gonna spin and you're gonna basically drop the front end, and that's the last thing you want. So you're gonna hear my power early. You're gonna hear very little up here. And actually you can see it's kind of not the greatest landing. We got this boulder here, so I'm gonna have to clear that and kind of almost jump off of this point and land somewhere down here. Hopefully smooth, hopefully good, hopefully I don't crash. This is kind of an interesting one. It's more, this size of a boulder isn't really hard for me, but there is a point where it's like, ooh man, this is kind of steep, it's got a weird landing. The run-in's not great, it's kind of a downhill. That makes it a little more challenging. On a downhill run-in, we're gonna lift a little bit earlier. There's a lot of little things that go into this stuff, and understanding that comes from a lot of repetitions and a lot of just repeating different obstacles, different angles, different tries to try to find the best route to clearing all these obstacles with efficiency, right? So I'm gonna come in nice and smooth. Running's not bad, but again, it is downhill. So you're gonna see me lift a little early. Again, we're gonna try to put that power down all right here and then be smooth coming over. Here we go. Oh boy. Watch my dog Romer get right in the way. He's really good at that. It's one of his favorite things to do. Get right in the way. Come here, Romer. Come on, bub. Okay, stay right there. All right, here we go. Got my buddy in the way, but we're gonna go for it anyway. Stay there, stay there, stay there. Good boy. I love having to deal with my dog during the obstacle too. Here we go, nice and smooth, early. Very nice. Woo-wee. Okay, so if you notice there, I drove it in nice and smooth, a lot of power early. You can even see I'm putting power down early, driving it in, and then on top I almost like push down on that rear tire to get that propulsion, so I missed those last rocks. That's an interesting obstacle. It's a little bit, you know, tech, it's a little scary, but again, not a fast approach. I'm not hammering this thing trying to get air. I'm trying to get those tires to stick. And that's a huge thing that you're gonna see throughout these next boulders that we're gonna hit. So let's go find another one. Hopefully, let's up the ante, make it a little bit harder. Moving on to the next obstacle, we've got a big one here. As you can see, we're gonna come in from this side. It's pretty sharp up top. Again, this is one that we have to hold pressure going over, which is pretty important. On these type of obstacles, this is where we start to adjust that speed. Heighten that speed a little bit more, and we're also focused on putting a heavy second burst of power. A lot of those other obstacles, the second burst is a little bit more than the first, always, but as we start to get bigger and bigger, the focus is on really driving that rear into the obstacle so it sticks, holds traction, and floats us over, right? Because again, this is very steep. I can't drop my front, I'll go over the bar, so I have to hold pressure over this. You can see we're getting taller and taller on each obstacle. The run-in's clean here. Again, this is, you know, this is a big one. I'm gonna have to be really careful. I also have a couple rocks, so I'm gonna kind of thread the needle here. I got this rock and this one. I'm gonna try to thread the needle in between them, come up, nice and early lift, smooth power. I'm gonna get on that heavy second blip, move that weight back, and hopefully hold pressure over this. What do you think, Rome? Maybe, maybe so. All right, here we go. Here we go. All right, guys. Starts getting important to clear that bike out too. Make sure it's clean so we have a good burst of power. Listen to where the power is. Watch that body position when I hold pressure. Here we go, nice and smooth. Not bad. That was actually a lot easier than I thought it would be. That's always good. But I'm sure we're gonna get gnarlier and gnarlier and get to the point where I'm failing, and that's what I want you guys to see. But again, you saw there, smooth entry, heavy throttle, very little over the top, keeping that traction held. Move that weight back to hold pressure, keep that front tire lifted, nice and smooth on the landing. That looked good. Let's move on to the next one. All right, so we're moving on here. As you can see, we're getting taller and taller on the obstacles. This one is very similar to the last one, but it's a lot more abrupt. We're getting a lot more of a straight up run in. In fact, it's a little undercut down here, so we're gonna have to get a little bit of a lift. As these obstacles get bigger, there's a couple things. One, first off, we're kind of getting into that jap-zap territory where we're trying to get that compression and rebound coming off of the ground where the rear tire leaves a little bit early. We're driving hard into that obstacle to try to get that tire to lift. Now, as these rocks get taller and taller, I'm also doing something that's called a tap splat, similar to a tap splat. It's not exactly right, but it's very similar. And basically what that is my front tire is hitting the obstacle, but we're not driving it in really hard like we would on the other rocks. We're kind of grazing it. We're getting a little bit of rebound, a little bit of compression, but then we're heavy on that second blip, driving that rear tire into the obstacle to hold traction and pull us over, okay? Now, this one's a little safer on the backside. You can see here, it's a little more gentle. I might be able to get up if I don't get it right and ride down. Now, I'm gonna say though, my goal, and I don't know how many tries it's gonna take me because I've never done this one before, but my goal is to hold traction, hold pressure, and basically carry the front all the way over. So this is a big obstacle to do that on, but I think I can do it. I've kicked in a runway just a little bit here to make sure I've got a nice smooth approach. Again, I'm gonna come in, that second blip, I want you to listen, it's gonna be heavy on the power. I'm gonna try to drive that rear tire into the obstacle, get it to stick, and hopefully we can get over. This is a big one. There's a good chance I'll fail on this one. So Rome, that's not a great place to be. But he doesn't care. He's always in the way, huh, buddy? Sometimes I gotta move my dog into the shade. Hey, Rome, why don't you come right here? Attaboy. Attaboy. Come. Hurry. We're on video here. Everybody's waiting for me to hit this thing or crash on this thing. Nice and smooth. Please don't go over there. All right. You've got to follow me around. All right, here we go. We're gonna see what happens here. This is gonna be a big one. Heavy throttle. I want you to listen to that second blip. We're also gonna come in a little bit faster to try to get that tire, or try to get that bike to have the momentum to pull me over. Here we go. Cleared out, ready to go. That one didn't work. We were a little loaded there too. You could hear the bike was a little loaded. Let's go again. We're gonna get it. No big deal. That was best case as far as not making it, right? So what I'm gonna do here. Had to clear that thing out just a little bit. And I'll tell you, I'm actually needing to change the clip on my jetting. I've got winter jetting and it's summer, but whatever. Here we go. Heavy throttle. We're gonna hold pressure. We're gonna get this right. Oh boy! Holy moly! That was killer. That was I forced myself to keep my feet on the pegs on that one. That was pretty cool. I actually hit it a little crooked there, and you can see I had to adjust my body to kind of turn that bike in midair. And these are things, it's kind of like just repetitions and doing it so much and having trust in my ability. But hey, that was a cool one. I've never done that rock before, so I'm pretty psyched on that. That's a big old fella, and to hold pressure coming over, that's pretty gnar. So we got to find something that I'm going to fail on. So let's move on to the next one. I got one in mind that I've been looking at, but again, I haven't hit it. So we're going to give her, and let's see what happens. All right, guys, we are on to the final rock. This is a big one. Obviously, you can see we're up around that 5-foot area, and this is where I have to start thinking about what I'm doing. I've never done this rock. I actually came up with the idea for this episode because of this rock. I wanted to save it for you guys because I'm almost positive I won't get it first try. I'm going to do everything I can to get it first try, but this is that point where I really have to start thinking about what I'm doing. There's a couple things about this obstacle. One, as the wind blows, it's slightly downhill. You might not even be able to tell from the video, but this is slightly downhill. That makes it quite a bit tougher. I have to lift, be focused on lifting a little bit early. Downhill slant, you have to lift early because you're at a disadvantage, right? So we've got to lift that front tire early. And if you noticed on the last rock, The first run that I didn't quite make it all the way over clean the way that I wanted, I drove the front tire way too hard into the obstacle. On the second row, as I was saying, using that kind of tap splat technique, we're kind of grazing. We're still getting that compression, but we're kind of grazing, getting heavy on that power and driving it in. I'm honestly a little bit nervous. I'm being totally honest, I am a little nervous about this one. You know, it's going to be really tough. It's going to be really tough. I've kind of kicked in a little bit of a runway for myself. Smoother's faster. Oh boy, I'm kind of pumped. I'm going to get fired up. Romer, do me a favor, buddy. Don't lay there. Every time. He knows where I'm going. Huh? You know where I'm going. All right, guys. We are going to give her everything she's got. Okay, Rom. I need you to come with me, buddy. Romer, come on. Come on, Rom. Good boy. Come. Oh, man, that's a big rock, huh? Romer, can you come here? All right. I'm nervous, but we're going to give her, guys. Here we go. Don't want to think about it too much. Early lift. Heavy power. Oh, dude. As I said, this is going to be really tough. I kind of did that a little wrong. It's a downhill slant, and like I said, that makes it so much tougher. You can barely tell, but that was not a great run. But hey, we're going to give her again. I don't know if I'm going to get it today, but there's always tomorrow, right? I don't get everything first try. Oh, that downhill is just making it really interesting. We're going to try again, though. Oh boy. I'm gonna give it one more, but I'll tell you what, that hurt. You could see there, my hips drove into those bars. I'm at such a disadvantage on this downhill. I can feel my bike drop away from me as that rear tire comes in. But honestly, this is kind of what I wanted. I want you guys to see that I don't get everything. I'm gonna try it one more. Rome's in a great spot once again. I'm gonna try it one more time, and Rome's telling me, cut it out, Dad. We're done. One more, buddy. Come on, Rome. One more. Scary. It's a big rock. It's just steep, straight, gnarly. I'm gonna drop my front a little more on this run. Sometimes that happens. I was a little off there. No need to commit to something we're not 100% feeling. Here we go. Big rock. Ah, we'll get her. Getting in my head, right? This game is very mental as well. Excuse me, Rome. Don't go that way. No, Romer. Come. Come. He knows exactly what I'm doing. He doesn't want me to do it. Here we go. Ooh. Let me get one more go. Whew. Stay there, Romer. Holy moly. That's big boy stuff. And your boy's not big enough. Here we go. Ooh. Whoa. See, this is my obsession. One more. I said I was only going to do it one more time, but you get closer and closer, you kind of feel that. Ooh, hurting my legs. I'm trying so hard to make up for that disadvantage. I'll tell you what, I know I have it in me to get this. It's so funny. This is completely live. Nobody knows. But I'm very obsessive, okay? And honestly, this is what's made me a good rider. obsessed with trying to get things that I know are going to be hard. You've got to step outside of your comfort zone. And truthfully, this is it for me. We've got just the right disadvantage. It's a little downhill. Obviously, it's straight up and down. I'm not giving it enough. I can feel the power before. I have to get on it harder to get that thing to drive up. I'm doing a couple little things wrong, and I'm just trying to break them down in my mind. Does that mean I'm ever gonna, give up and never try this again? Absolutely not. And that's the thing I want you guys to focus on. I could sit here and do this over and over, and I'm actually forcing myself to stop for this video because it's probably already way too long. But I want you to understand that whether it's a rock of this size, which is my limit, and I want you guys to see my limit, or your limit, a rock that's this big, there is no shame in continually trying and failing, right? If you're not failing, you're not trying. And it's so important to push yourself outside of that zone and try something that's hard. I will get this rock, and as soon as I get it, I'm sure you guys will see it. Thank you so much for following the channel. I got work to do, and I'm ready to put in the time, right? So if you're enjoying the channel, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Follow us on Instagram at IRC Moto, my personal Instagram page at RichLarson511. If you're following my personal Instagram page, you're gonna see me hit this thing at some point. And until next time, guys, thank you so much. Keep shredding.